Guys, Jim here again to bring you guys another MMA fight prediction video. This time I'm covering the TUF Nations Finale's main event that features a middleweight grudge match between Michael the Count Bisping and Tim Kennedy. In a fight where the shit talking ends and the punishment begins. Now I will give you guys a short fight profile and the breakdown of the two fighters and who I have ultimately winning and walking out, getting the last laugh, and moving one step closer to the middleweight championship. Now, without further ado, let's get some. Bisping, Kennedy. Now, Michael Bisping last year was on the fast track to becoming the #1 contender for the UFC Middleweight Championship. I mean, he just beat Brian Stann at UFC 152 in a dominating performance, and all he had to do was beat Vitor Belfort in Brazil. But, as always, when Michael is in that serious contenders bout, he somehow drops the ball. And Vitor got him good with that high kick and sent him towering to the canvas in the second round. However, he did come back strong against one of the guys talking tons of shit about him, and Alan Belcher, UFC 159 in the co-main event, and took him to school. He outstruck him on the feet. He stopped Belcher's takedown attempt. It was a clear-cut decision victory for Michael. However, in that third round, an accidental eye poke stopped the fight, and he was awarded the technical decision. It is what it is. I mean, they got to figure out somehow how to fix these gloves, man. That's all I can say. There, he was set to go against Mark Munoz in England, but he had to pull out due to injury. And while he was on the mend, you had another guy calling him out, trying to pick a fight with Bisping, trying to make a name for himself off of Michael, and Tim Kennedy, the former Green Beret, who's riding a 3-fight win streak with a guillotine choke over Trevor Smith and an uninspiring unanimous decision victory over Roger Gracie. Most recently, a stunning knockout over Rafael Natal at the Fight for the Troops event. With that being said, to get the title shot and become a star in this organization that people recognize, he needs to defeat a well-established name like Michael Bisping to get noticed. And just like Michael, you know, every time Kennedy is in the big one, he loses. You know, and Kennedy has gotten Michael's attention. I mean, after talking all that shit with the insults and the interview, that mock video he did on Bisping on YouTube. But be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Because now he has to deal with a pissed off, motivated Michael Bisping who will nothing more to use Kennedy as a stepping stone for greater glory. Now, for Kennedy, this is his opportunity to leapfrog into the top 5, and with one more victory over, say, his former adversary, Jacare, he could be closing in on a UFC middleweight title shot at a future date. And hell, it could be after Chris Weidman faces Lyoto Machida for the UFC middleweight championship this summer at UFC 175. If Vitor can find a working alternative to TRT, and you know he has to retire from active mixed martial arts competition, then Kennedy, if he defeats, you know, Jacare, could get the next title shot. But at the same time, the same thing could be said for Michael Bisping should he defeat both Kennedy and Jacare. Then Michael will be closing in on the title shot that has eluded him his entire career. But anyways, let's break it down, shall we? Breaking this down between these two fighters. Obviously, Michael Bisping's the taller of the two. He's 6'2". Kennedy's like 5'11". Michael has the reach advantage at 76 to Kennedy's 74. 2 inches difference there. That's the cardio. Both guys have excellent cardio. Tim Kennedy has more experience going the distance in 5-round fights. Michael Bisping's only gone the distance in 3-round fights. I mean, the only 5-round fight he had was against Jason Mayhem Miller. And that was only like, what, 3 rounds or something like that until he TKO'd him. And I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue for him to go an extra 2 because the guy's always in great shape. He doesn't tire easily. And when it comes down to it, he's going to be just fine. When it comes to the striking aspect of this fight, Michael Bisping has the superior stand-up, in my opinion. His strikes are cleaner, you know, more accurate. You know, he sets the pace very well. And when he gets that Muay Thai clinch and he goes for that jumping knee on you, man, that's wicked. And he might not have, you know, that one-punch knockout power, but he can still put you away with multiple shots. And he doesn't overexert himself when he's striking either. He just does it very methodical. And for Kennedy, he's got some good footwork, some good kicks. He's got that wicked left hand. But at the same time, he's a slow starter. And if it's not going well for him on the feet, he tries to take you down. Because of the jiu-jitsu aspect of this fight, I have to give it to Tim Kennedy. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And he goes for more submissions throughout his fights than Michael does. Second of all, he submitted people more recently than Michael has. I mean, Michael will go for submission attempts, but, you know, he's more content to finish you with strikes. And second of all, he hasn't submitted anybody since his old days, you know, fighting in Britain. I mean, he has 4 submissions to his credit, but he hasn't won a fight by submission in a long, long time. But his submission defense is very good. So is Kennedy's. But we're looking at far as who's more active with the submissions. We got to go with Tim Kennedy. After all, he was able to hang in there with Roger Gracie on the ground. Roger Gracie, who is one of the top jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. Wrestling, on the other hand, both guys have good offensive and defensive wrestling skills. The wrestling's even right there. There's no clear advantage for anybody. At the end of the day, here's how I see this fight playing out. Michael Bisping is going to set the pace on Tim Kennedy. He's going to outstrike him, stuff his takedowns. If he does get taken down and Kennedy tries to go for submissions, he's going to defend the submissions. He's going to hip escape. He's going to sprawl and brawl, get back up to his feet, and just pick him apart on the feet. The guy's got better Muay Thai. His stuff is more crisp, more cleaner, and it's quicker. And Michael is not a slow starter like Kennedy is. I mean, Kennedy is a decent striker. He's got that left hook that can knock you out, but he's too slow. And Michael's going to beat him to the punch all day. My official prediction for this fight is that Michael Bisping wins via TKO or unanimous decision. And, you know, get the last laugh because Kennedy's been trying to make a name off Michael. And he's just going to find out. The only thing he's going to get out of it is being famous from getting beat down from Michael Bisping. Ranger that up, buddy. From there, Michael moves on to face probably Jacare sometime this year. for the #1 contendership for the UFC Middleweight Championship. Now, Tim's going to obviously work his way back up the rankings with a few more wins and probably, get himself back in the mix. Now that ends today's fight prediction video. I'll see you guys for the next one. Jim, signing off.